दृष्टुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्. We have discussed last class the properties of carbonyl compounds, aldehydes and ketones. We have discussed the haloform formation and the reactions involving carbonyl group elimination reaction, addition reaction, and we were discussing the redoxon reaction. So the carbonyl compounds undergo redoxon. So this I have talked to you last class, redoxon reaction. All these carbonyl compounds, they undergo reduction to alcohol or undergo reduction to alkene. If we are adding 2 hydrogen atoms, then we get alcohol, the pi bond cleaves. One hydrogen atom is added to carbon and one to oxygen. And if we are adding 4 hydrogen atoms by a strong reducing agent, then we get alkane with elimination of a molecule of water. So this I have discussed to you last class, that the reduction of carbonyl compound to alcohol by the reducing agents for alcohol. For alcohol, we can take the nickel and hydrogen at 300 degree centigrade. We can heat. This is catalytic hydrogenation. Or we can take platinum or palladium and heat with hydrogen. It can take place at lower temperature. And this can also be done by lithium aluminum hydride or lithium sodium boron hydride. Sodium boron hydride. So we can take this hydrogenation by heating with nickel. We can get alcohol, or by platinum and palladium and hydrogen we heat. We can get also alcohol. But this platinum and palladium, they are at lower temperature reaction take place. But within the two, the best is the lithium aluminum hydride. The lithium aluminum hydride is a better reducing agent for the reduction of carbonyl compound to alcohol. The reason because if there is a alkene double bond in a molecule, then lithium aluminum hydride can only reduce the carbonyl group, will not reduce the carbon double bond carbon. So it has a preference while performing the redoxon reaction, that it can only reduce the carbonyl group to alcohol, not the carbon double bond carbon. And this is preference is done by lithium aluminum hydride. This I have discussed in my last class. Now we will come to the reduction of carbonyl compound to alkene. Reduction of carbonyl compound to alkene. So this reduction can be done by 2 methods. One by Clemenson's reduction, and second by Wolff-Kishner reduction. The reduction of carbonyl group to alkene can be possible. Carbonyl compound alkene can be possible by Clemenson's reduction and Wolff-Kishner reduction. This Clemenson's reduction I have discussed in my last class. In the video you can have there you have discussed the Clemenson's reduction. The reducing agent used in Clemenson's reduction is zinc amalgam and HCl. We can take the reducing agent is used here, zinc amalgam plus concentrated HCl is used as the reducing agent for reducing the carbonyl group to CS2 group. Then what is this zinc amalgam? It is an alloy of zinc and mercury. What is an alloy? When two metals are melted and allowed to mix, the alloy produced is called amalgam if it is a mercury. When it is like a sodium, we can take sodium amalgam, we can take zinc with mercury, is called zinc amalgam. Zinc is a reducing agent, zinc itself is a reducing agent, but zinc amalgam is taken, the reason because zinc is a highly electropositive metal. When exposed to atmospheric air, the zinc gets oxidized to zinc oxide, and zinc oxide is basic. It loses its reducing property. Hence, the zinc is amalgamated by a coating of mercury on its surface. So, zinc is taken, melted, and the liquid mercury is put into mercury. So, the mercury forms a cover over the zinc, does not allow the atmospheric oxygen to act upon zinc. Hence, zinc preserves its reducing property. So, that zinc reacts with concentrated HCl to produce nascent hydrogen. This zinc reacts with concentrated HCl to produce zinc chloride and hydrogen, nascent hydrogen. So, we will get nascent hydrogen in this case. So, a continuous supply of nascent hydrogen can be possible, and which can carry out the redoxon reaction. So, this Clemenson's, this zinc amalgam and HCl is a very good reducing agent, is a very good reducing agent. So, if you take say formaldehyde, HCO, when you take zinc amalgam and HCl, concentrated HCl, and we heat, we get here methane, CH4 plus water. If we take acetaldehyde, CH3HO, acetaldehyde, and we reduce it by heating with zinc amalgam and HCl, it undergoes Clemenson's reduction to produce ethane, CH3 with the elimination of a molecule of water. Now, if we take acetone, CH3CO, there is acetone. If we take acetone, then it also undergoes reduction in presence of zinc amalgam plus concentrated HCl to produce propane, CH3, So, this we have also discussed while discussing the preparation of alkane. Reduction of carbonyl compounds can produce on zinc amalgam and HCl undergo Clemenson's reduction to produce propane and water. This is a useful reaction, very important reaction for the students of appearing in your entrance exam. They can ask a question, the reducing agent used in Clemenson's reduction is lithium aluminum hydride, sodium boron hydride, zinc amalgam HCl, sodium and alcohol. Like this the question will be there. So, there our choice will be zinc amalgam and HCl. Or in a chain reaction, you may get a reaction, there is a question, organic compound A when treated with so and so formed B, when treated with zinc amalgam and HCl formed C. So, that B must be a carbonyl compound, because when the zinc amalgam HCl reaction goes, this Clemenson's reduction is done to a carbonyl compound to produce alkene. Now we'll come to the second type of reduction, as I told you, is Wolff-Kissner reduction. This is also a very important question for the students to get into entrance exam, that Wolff-Kissner reduction. So in this reaction, what is the principle of the reaction? We take a carbonyl compound, and this carbonyl compound is treated with hydrazine, to form the hydrazone. This hydrazone, when heated with sodium ethoxide, heated, it forms the corresponding alkane with elimination of a molecule of nitrogen. This is the principle of the reaction. So what the reducing agent here? We are taking the hydrazine, and this hydrazine reacts with the carbonyl compound to form its hydrazone, and when this hydrazone formed is heated with sodium ethoxide, that decomposes to produce alkane and nitrogen. So here the sodium ethoxide used, this acts as a catalyst. It is not taking part in chemical reaction, it acts as a catalyst. It decomposes the hydrazone to produce the alkane and nitrogen molecule. So what the reaction then? When a carbonyl compound is warmed with hydrazine, it forms its hydrazone. The hydrazone is a precipitate, and when it is warmed with sodium ethoxide, decomposes to produce the corresponding alkane and the nitrogen. So this sodium ethoxide acts as a catalyst. Then how this reaction? So we take the general, I'm doing the general reaction now, this carbonyl compound, and we are treating with hydrazine, H2 and NS2. NS2 is hydrazine. So this elimination of a molecule of water take place to form hydrazone, C double bond N NS2 plus water. So this forms the hydrazone. Now this hydrazone is taken, and this hydrazone so formed NS2, it is heated with sodium ethoxide, C2H5ONA. We are heating this. So what happens? This nitrogen molecule is eliminated. By heating, the nitrogen molecule is eliminated, and we get the alkane. Here, CS2 plus N2. So this is the principle of the Wolff-Kissner reduction. You may get a short note, write short notes on Wolff-Kissner reduction, or what is Wolff-Kissner reduction. We may get a question like this. So now let's take acetaldehyde, acetone, and formaldehyde and carry out the reaction. Let's take the acetaldehyde and carry out the reaction. CS3H, this is the acetaldehyde. When treated with hydrazine, H2 and NS2, hydrazine. So this loses a molecule of water. It forms CS3CH double bond and NS2. This acetaldehyde hydrazone. This acetaldehyde hydrazone now we are heating with sodium ethoxide, C2H5ONA. This eliminates a molecule of nitrogen to form CS3. This is ethane. So many often a question comes also, how can you convert acetaldehyde to ethane in one step. This may be a question to you. So you can write in ethane, acetaldehyde, hydrogen, sodium ethoxide, heat, then that gives you ethane. Now the same way, if we take acetone, we carry out the reaction, CH3, CO, there is acetone, and when we heat it with hydrazine, treat it with hydrazine, this loses a molecule of water to form its hydrazone, CH3, C, double bond N, NH2, acetone hydrazone, and this goes as a molecule of water. Now this acetone hydrazone, when heated with sodium ethoxide, this decomposes to produce a nitrogen and a propane. We get CH3, CH2, CH3. We get the propane and the nitrogen. So this is called Wolff-Kissner reduction. So in all these reactions, we were discussing about reactions involving the carbonyl group. EAR, we have taken the mnemonics, elimination reaction, that elimination of oxygen of carbonyl group as a molecule of water. Then A, nucleophilic addition reaction. Then reduction reaction, where the aldehydes and ketones, they exhibit similar type of reactions. Now we will come to the reactions in which aldehydes differ from ketone. We will now go to the second type of reactions, the reactions in which the reactions in which aldehydes differ from ketone. What are the reactions in which they go? This is from the structure. If you come to an aldehyde, RCOH is the aldehyde, and RRCO is the ketone. Now what the difference? The difference is this formyl hydrogen atom, lone hydrogen atom. So this lone hydrogen atom of aldehyde has its own properties. It induces certain peculiar character to the molecule, and but that is not there in ketone. So what is that reaction? It can easily undergo oxidation because of the presence of the hydrogen atom. It can easily undergo oxidation even by a mild oxidizing agent to a carboxylic acid containing same number of carbon atoms. But in ketone, both the groups are alkyl groups. Both the groups are alkyl groups. The alkyl groups are inactive groups. Since they are inactive groups, they cannot be oxidized easily. But they cannot be oxidized by a normal oxidizing agent. But when heated with a concentrated sulfuric acid and potassium dichromate or chromic acid, then one of the alkyl group undergoes oxidation. One of the alkyl group undergoes oxidation to produce a carboxylic acid containing one carbon atom less. So this reaction in which the aldehydes differ from ketone, and this reaction is a oxidation reaction, they differ. And other three type of reactions, this aldehyde and the ketone, that differ, is a polymerization reaction, aldol condensation, resin formation. In these reactions also aldehydes differ from ketone, and aldehyde gives a specific test with Skipp's reagent, that the test for aldehyde group and that is not responded by the ketone. So we have taken the code as OPARAS, OPARAS. So these are the reactions in which aldehydes differ from ketone. O, oxidation; P, polymerization; A, aldol condensation; R, resin formation; A, reaction with ammonia; and S, Skipp's reagent. So these are the reactions in which the aldehydes differ from ketone, and each reaction is an important reaction from the examination point of view. You can get questions from each one. You may have a short question, or you may have a 2 or 3 mark question, or also for our all the entrance examinations that you are going to take. Now we'll come to oxidation reaction. The aldehydes have a lone hydrogen atom in the aldehyde group, in the COH group, this aldehyde group, hence are easily oxidized. Even by mild oxidizing agent. To the carboxylic acid containing same number of carbon atoms. So we have the aldehyde RCOH, and this can be oxidized by even mild oxidizing agent. This H is oxidized to OH, we get RCOH, the carboxylic acid containing the same number of carbon atoms. So this is done by both formaldehyde and acetaldehyde. Both they undergo this type of reaction. Now we'll come to the 2 important reactions here are there. One is called Tollens reagent and other is the Fehling solution. So the 2 reagents we are taking here, we are now considering the oxidation reaction with the Tollens reagent, and so we'll come to Tollens reagent. Reaction with Tollens. This is a question, 1 mark question. What is a Tollens reagent? Maybe a question for a 12th class student, both in CBSE and CHSE board. What is Tollens reagent? What is Tollens reagent? The ammoniacal silver nitrate solution is a mild oxidizing agent, is called as Tollens reagent. Ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. That means we will take silver nitrate and add ammonia to that. So that compound produced has oxidizing property, and that is called as Tollens reagent. So what is Tollens reagent? Ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. Is called as Tollens reagent. So we are taking silver nitrate solution, and to that we are adding ammonia NH3 in presence of water. Water is there, silver nitrate contains water, so it is as good as adding ammonium hydroxide. So this forms silver hydroxide a white precipitate plus NH4NO3. So this is a white precipitate silver hydroxide. Now we take this silver hydroxide, again we add ammonium hydroxide to that. So this forms Ag NH3 twice OH, a complex diamine silver hydroxide. Diamine silver hydroxide. So this is a soluble. This is soluble, and this is the oxidizing. It has the oxidizing agent. So how it oxidizes? Now this silver nitrate, diamine silver hydroxide, this produces a compound called Ag2O. This Ag2O plus ammonium hydroxide, etc. it comes. So this Ag2O is the substance which carry out the oxidation reaction. So the active species that brings out oxidation is what? Silver oxide produced by diamine hydroxide in the reaction medium. Now if we take an aldehyde, when an aldehyde is warmed with a tolerance reagent, gets oxidized to carboxylic acid and produce silver mirror. That is, when you take a test tube, in the test tube we take the aldehyde, then we add to this the tolerance reagent we get. So then we heat it. When you heat, then what will happen? The aldehyde will be oxidized to what? Carboxylic acid, and it will produce metallic silver. This tolerance is metallic silver. So this metallic silver will be coated inside the test tube. Inside the test tube, this metallic silver will be coated. So this will form the metallic silver, and we call this as a silver mirror. They call this as a silver mirror because when silver is inside, so the outside of the glass will look like a mirror. We can see our face. So this test is also called silver mirror test. So what is done? So what we will say, when an aldehyde is heated with a tolerance reagent, gets oxidized to carboxylic acid and produces metallic silver, which is coated inside of the test tube, and it looks like a silver mirror. So these are otherwise also called silver mirror test. They call this a silver mirror test. So we'll take the formaldehyde HCO, and this is the Ag2O comes from the tolerance reagent, and we are warming it. So this gets oxidized to form HCOOH, the formic acid, and this forms metallic silver. And if you take acetaldehyde CS3COH, acetaldehyde, and we add tolerance reagent to this, and warm, we get acetic acid, and metallic silver. So they produce metallic silver. This metallic silver appears as a silver mirror, hence this is called as a silver mirror test. They call this as a silver mirror test. But if you take a ketone, and add a tolerance reagent and heat, no reaction. So this is a distinguishing test for aldehyde from ketone. How can you distinguish an aldehyde from ketone? When you take the two test tubes are there, one contains ketone, one contains aldehyde, then you add, you don't know which is aldehyde, which is ketone, you add tolerance reagent to both and warm it. On warming, the aldehyde will produce silver mirror and ketone will not. Hence, the aldehyde can be distinguished from ketone. So this test is called silver mirror test. Children, this is the very important reaction, the tolerance reagent. Next class we will discuss the reaction with the Fehling solution. You subscribe our channel by pressing the bell icon and like it, and whatever the doubts you have or you want any suggestions or questions, you can write in the comment box. I will be answering to your questions. Thank you very much for joining with us.